Welcome to a weekly episode of Talk. We're your host, Eddie Marmolejo.
And Jaime Moreno.
Oh, man. We have been gone for a while. You know, life gets busy. Life throws you curves, but we got to handle it. And we did. But now we're back. Mm-hmm. In our absence, the world has gone crazier. I mean, it was getting bad before we took this little 3-week break, but it's gone bad. And if yesterday was an indication, and yes, I'm talking about the Beirut explosion, August is going to be a pretty explosive kind of month. No pun intended. Anyways, so as you know, Beirut had a big explosion yesterday. We're going to get into that really quick as to what caused it. And then, of course, we're going to jump in to the new camera footage that was released about the George Floyd incident. What does it add? Does it change the narrative? We're going to talk about it. Then we're going to look into what do people think about defunding the police? What do people in the streets think about defunding the police? We're going to take a look at two views out of the situation. It's really quite revealing, right? And then following that, we're also going to talk about this incident in Louisville, Kentucky, where a chapter of Black Lives Matter is now threatening Latino businesses. And funny how Latino news stations have failed to report on this subject because I have not seen not even one article. I've asked Jaime if he's seen one article. He has not. But we're gonna discuss it here in MM Talk because we like to analyze and discuss these issues. We're gonna do it here, and then we're gonna proceed to mail-in voting. Is it gonna work? Is it a good idea? We're gonna talk about that, and finally, presidential debates. Are we gonna have them or not? Is it a good idea to have them? But before we jump into all those discussions, Jaime.
Yes. That silent effect was just like I was just trying to make fun of news reporter where they're on the ground and they're like,
oh, okay.
yes, we're here live.
Well, thank you, Jane.
So that's why I did that whole thing just to bring some humor. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Please follow our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our channel so you can get the latest update on our videos and our full analysis, right, of the issues at hand and the headlines. Also, just remember to share with your friends and family who need to be a little bit more informed, who like to know more in depth, about certain issues. Don't hesitate to direct them to us, where we can help clarify some issues and some things. I know a lot of information is going out there, especially with the media as being so biased and explicitly biased nowadays. I think we're happy that we're doing this here on Talk to bring the truth, the centerpiece, and be able to move forward with better decisions, regardless if you're liberal or conservative. We all got to make decisions based on facts, right? So don't forget to subscribe. And with that, let's move on to Beirut.
Okay, so
now yesterday, right? Beirut just suffered not a catastrophe. You can say catastrophe, right? We can say that.
Catastrophic
event.
I don't know if catastrophic.
It got out of hand. The fire that got out of hand. How would you describe what happened, right? Like,
it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. Yeah, it is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but I don't know.
But the first thing, though, is it's not a nuclear bomb.
I mean, unexpected, right? And unfortunate. And if you want to use catastrophic, go for it.
Or accident, right? We could
accident,
as an accident, right?
Yeah.
Accident at the port.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not a nuclear warhead. So those people who are going around social media and misinforming, where's Twitter? Where's Facebook on this?
Yes.
Where's the fact checkers?
The Facebook weapons of mass destruction experts on the line, please.
Yeah. It's not a nuclear warhead, because if it was a nuclear warhead, we would be talking about Beirut just pretty much deleted from the face of the earth, right? Because, I mean, if the A-bomb caused that much damage back when it was deployed during World War II, and the nuclear warhead is way more powerful than an atom bomb, you can only imagine that. If it was a nuclear warhead, it would have been worse than Nagasaki and Hiroshima, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because so it's not a nuclear warhead. Thank God it's not a nuclear warhead, and we're happy that it wasn't that. Even though the way the explosion happened, the cloud, right, that mushroom cloud that expanded like a like a dome, right? When it
Mhm.
exploded, like a dome that just went out. Might have people think it was a nuclear warhead, but it's not, right? And that is a powerful explosion. Obviously, it's not fireworks because fireworks do not have that capacity, right? They don't have that explosive ability. So I think, yeah. So it's not a nuclear warhead. It looks like a mushroom, but it wasn't a nuclear warhead. It's an explosion, and I think Eddie's going to talk more about that. Do you recall what was the cause, or what is the
So yeah, so
what was the
before,
dynamite there?
yeah. So before, because all I saw was people just posting the videos like, I was like, okay, this is pretty bad, and I'm starting thinking,
Yeah.
and of course, the first thing that came to my mind, I'm not gonna lie, was nuclear warhead, like just because of the way
The cloud, right? That explosion cloud,
right?
Yeah.
But then I saw more videos of different angles, what happened before the blast, after the blast, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely not a nuclear warhead. And I say that to you because before a nuclear explosion, you're gonna the aftermath of a nuclear explosion, right? Where you get the shock wave, it's you see flashes of light, you see a flash of light, and you didn't see that prior to this blast. All you saw was just the blast, right? You saw the little fireworks, and depending what video you saw the little fireworks, and then poof, okay. And then I started talking to people, like, was some sort of nitrate explosive, that I could have seen happening. I was talking to people, maybe, I don't know, a big load of C4, Semtex, I don't know, something big, right? I was just more conventional style of explosives. And I even said TNT, it's a nitrate explosive too. And
it could have been missiles, right? Do you think
a
shipment of missiles can?
No, because the way the missile,
the warheads, right? Yeah,
the warheads, the kill to. Okay, how am I?
Sorry, did I misuse the term or something?
No. It's the impact of a missile would have been more. It's the aftermath of the explosion would have been differently, because this went up. The explosion went up.
Gotcha.
Usually a missile is, but this went, like,
yeah, it went like like a cloud, right?
Like a cloud,
expanded.
Yeah. So,
and the missile goes down.
Yeah.
Like a wave, right? Like a bowl, right?
It's an
like
impact.
A bowl.
So you see, it's an impact. So that would have been more expanded out this way, and this was this way. So that's why a lot of people thought it was more of a tactical nuclear warhead, not a warhead, but a tactical, like a portable nuclear device. And I was like, no, there's no way. And then of course the reports came out later, and it said, well, it's ammonium nitrate, 2 tons of it. And I'm like,
yeah, that's a lot.
A lot of nitrate.
That explains.
That would yield enough force to say, yeah, like a mini nuclear blast. And I say mini nuclear because they didn't have, fortunately, the side effects of a nuclear blast where everything's eviscerated and nothing would have been left standing. And how do I know that? Because if you look at Beirut today, and I mean, as of this recording, people are still working to find people that are missing. They're still working in the area. Had this been a nuclear explosion, he would have been exposed to radiation, and that area would have been closed off. So that's how I know personally it's not a nuclear warhead. Plus, any of the videos you saw, those people would not have survived in the immediate area. So, like I said, thank God it wasn't a nuclear warhead. But these are the type of things that, especially with incidents like this, I urge our viewers and people who may not be familiar with weaponry, don't jump to conclusions. Just because something looks like something, try to get the details from those that may know weaponry, because these are one of the things that that you better be looking at thoroughly first. Oh, it's a nuke, because I knew when the explosion did it, the first thing I thought, okay, what is Israel doing? Because you gotta understand the geopolitics of the Middle East. And had this been a nuclear explosion, sort of thing, Israel, what is Israel doing? Iran, what is Iran doing? You gotta look at the geopolitics of the area. Was this Hezbollah? Was this Hamas? Was this somebody, right? You gotta know the terrorist organizations. Everything you gotta compute. So don't jump to conclusions. Don't try to say it's nuclear explosions, because it does take effect. It could drive certain narratives that it's not true. But Eddie, what makes you an expert? If you know me, you know why. But I'm not going to leave it at there. That's just
and no, Eddie has not built any bombs. So
no, I'm not building any bombs. No.
He's not a terrorist.
Nuclear weapon is below my house. Okay.
I don't want people to use that as like, oh, what does he mean by that? Huh?
No, but just wait for the details to come out. It's something serious, but
yeah, especially nuclear warheads. I mean, that's just pretty much terminology for warfare, right? I mean, and now I'm not saying that you're trying to cause war. You're not trying to implicate do we start wars, but it can be depending on Lebanon, right? Mm-hmm. You never know, right? Lebanon has its enemies, and obviously the main one is Israel, right? Yeah. When people start going into nuclear warhead, that could be misinterpreted, right? Mm-hmm. And that could be taken differently and then cause some geopolitical tensions, right? Even though it wasn't a nuclear warhead.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's Lebanon. Thoughts and prayers to the families, to those that lost family members. You guys will recover. The city will recover, and a new day is on the horizon. So that's all I can really say. So, with that, let's go back here to the States where it has been in chaos. I would say controlled chaos, but that depends on to what perspective you're speaking from. Controlled chaos, as I like to say it, because
that's what you want to call it, Eddie. Controlled chaos.
Well, if I'm a Democrat, I'm calling it controlled chaos. It's
called peaceful protesting.
Peaceful protesting. Okay, that's
peaceful
what they want. Okay, well, anyways, okay, let's see that chaos in America. Now, we're at what, 2 months of protesting, 60 plus days?
60 plus days of protesting. Ever since the George Floyd case.
Incident?
I mean, I was going to say, don't people got jobs, but wait, we're in pandemic, so. Half the country is closed.
Yeah, so the incident involving George Floyd. That was the catalyst that sprung everything from the looting to now what has been deemed as cancel culture. It's all that. That incident propelled everything else. Unfortunate incident for Mr. Floyd. However, hearing him talk, even from the get-go, we came to certain conclusions, and some of those conclusions still apply today. Derek Chauvin did. Whether we're going to see what they're going to call it in court soon, but as of now, I'm going to say is negligent. Okay, and it's unforgivable, and it led to the death of somebody. So I'm not going to excuse the actions of Derek Chauvin or Chauvin, however you say his last name. That still stands. Second, Jaime, you and we agree on this. America was clearly united on that premise, and that's why a lot of people, even left or right, were saying, yeah, this is an act of police brutality. We agree on that. The division that comes between the left and the right, as we've seen today, is to whether we believe this is a systematic thing or it's not. And I'm on the side that it's not. And if you have seen our previous videos on MM Talk, I urge you to do so because we really dive into this topic and we describe how it's not, right? We use data that's been conducted by liberals at Harvard, right? Other national studies that were done as well.
By liberal institutions, right?
By liberal institutions, we used FBI statistics. I mean, we dug in. Jaime and I even went back and forth. I mean, this because Jaime and I wanted to answer this question. And for all you that say, "Oh, you just want to use right-wing punchlines," and like, no, dude. We approached this on the context where does the narrative that's being portrayed on television have any merit? Does it? Mm-hmm. And I said, we're going to go with that. That's what we're going to try to find out and research and try to find out. Right? And based on the most accurate data and the best available data, the answer is no. And if you want to see why, again, please go to those videos. And you can critique us there. You can say, hey, did you look at this? Did you look at that? Whatever. But as of now, we're going to say it's no. Mm-hmm. So
there's no evidence that's saying that cops go out there just looking to kill
black
people, right? And that's been the talking point by even celebrities, even millionaires, pundits, leaders of the black community. As just that cops are out to get black people, regardless of where they're at, regardless if they're innocent, they're out to get black people, right?
Right.
And like Eddie said, we looked into this and we ourselves debated the topic too. We debated this, like, well, could it be, they're hiding the racism under certain actions and behaviors and protocols, right? Or what's going on? So the fact that cops just want to get black people because they're just black and that's all they do, and they just racial profile them based on research, based on departments, based on analysis, we noticed that it's not really race related, right? It's unfortunate of what happened to George Floyd, and we condemn, in the words of Trump, condemn fully, right? totally condemn. But the fact that cops just target black people, the research disproves that.
Right.
And even that debate that me and Eddie had is like, well, where's the data that these liberals and leaders in the black community are using to back their claim that this is a systemic thing, that this is really an issue in America, that cops are just out to get black people regardless, right?
Yeah.
And there's no data to support their claim, right? There's no data. It's just an emotional argument. It's an emotional discussion, which is fine because, I mean, who wouldn't be hurt? Who wouldn't be saddened? Who wouldn't feel anger of what happened, right? I mean, we ourselves were mad at what happened. We ourselves were like, dude, that's not right. That's unjust. There needs to be done about it. And, that's through the court of law. And like we say here in Talk, everyone has due process. Everyone has to go to court, show the evidence you're innocent until proven guilty. And if you're found guilty, you have to do your time, right? And that's the premise, and that's what it is. And we're glad that, he's arrested and all that. But to believe that black Americans are dying daily by by white police officers is absurd. I mean, think about it. Every single day, that's 360, 5 days a year, right? And at one black person, that would be 365 deaths every year, right? And data has shown that there's been way less, like not even barely reaches what was the data we saw? Like not even 100, a little over 100 maybe it was, I think it was.
What are we talking exactly?
The death of a black by
the death of unarmed police officers last year alone was 14.
There you go. Not even 20.
Unarmed. And unarmed does not.
Unarmed.
And that means it could have had a knife or something that was not. I mean, they could obtain a knife or something. The unarmed doesn't mean they had no other way of obtaining a weapon. It just means they had, at the time, they didn't have any weapons. So
yeah, pretty much a gun. That's pretty much the terminology.
Like and whites were like 49, but like, yeah, well, there's more whites in America. And they're like, true. And that's when we said, well, yeah, if there's more whites, that means there would be more crime by whites. But then when and I said, go watch those episodes. We literally break it down because there's too much to break down again.
But that's pretty much the premise.
So
when the idea here is that the numbers don't reinforce that idea. Don't reinforce that narrative that cops are just constantly killing black men daily. There's no data supporting that claim.
Right.
So in an age of fact checking, right? In an age of we're making sure that there's information and truth is out there, right? These fact checkers now on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, which is fine. They aren't fact checking these claims, right? These people are going on social media, putting marketing material saying black people die daily in hands of police. Where's the fact checker saying that's misleading information, right?
Right.
The data is there to even back up the fact checkers, right? So in an age, so that's the debate. Like, where is this coming from? Why, right? Yeah. So moving on, now that we have this new footage that we're about to talk about, and Eddie's going to break it down more, it's pretty much, was this actually racially motivated, right? Did this have because George Floyd was black, we have to kill him, or we have to make sure we arrest him, right? And we're going to go through the video, and obviously, we're going to do our best to translate and give you guys what's going on. In the meantime, you have to pay attention to what they're saying, what they're communicating, how they're being treated, how the interaction is between the officers and George Floyd. Obviously, you're going to see George Floyd in a certain light, and you can see the officer in a certain light. Now, once again, like Eddie said, we're not here to defend what the officer did. Officer Chauvin, whatever you want to call him.
Chauvin, yeah, whatever his name is.
However you pronounce his last name. Right? Didn't go and killed him just because he's black, right?
Right.
So we're here to present this video to show you that it was just, there was things going on between the officers and George Floyd. Doesn't justify his death. We're not trying to justify his death. We're not trying to say that, oh, he should deserve to die because this happened or that happened. No. We want to show you that these men were not racially motivated. They were not motivated to arrest George Floyd because he was just black, because he just happened to be black, right? And that's the narrative, right? Arrested while being black.
So that's when people are protesting.
Killed by being black, yeah. So we want to see that video to show you that these officers were doing their job within the context, whether you agree the way they did it, whether you don't agree how they were talking, whatever. That could be up to debate. That could be part of training practices maybe in the future by police force. That could be part of curriculum for officers during the academy. That could be, a whole different learning experience. But the point here is that it wasn't racially motivated. So Eddie, you go ahead and take this because you're the...
Yeah, okay. So this video was... You can find it on YouTube. As you can see, we're on YouTube right now. And it's from the Daily Mail, right? It's a British publication, a newspaper. They were the first ones to leak the footage. So let's just play it. Jaime, if you want me to stop at a certain point, I'll stop. I don't want, it's 8 minutes. So, we may just skip certain parts because basically it leads up, right? But we'll get the basics and the most important parts in there for sure. And then,
we need to get it's a long video. We don't want to take too much time and every detail. Obviously, we're going to have the experts at the Washington Post, the New York Times, and all those experts to give you analysis of what you're seeing is not really what you're seeing, right? But what we want to show you is the cold facts of what's happened. Right. And we'll skip some things up. We're not trying to hide anything. We're just trying to get to how it came up to the death of George Floyd, right?
George Floyd, right.
And again, it's not because they were just racist. It's just unfortunate it happened. I still think that they should be charged for manslaughter, but we'll debate that after we watch the clips.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. Forgot it does take a second to load. Here we go.
I see your hands. Man, come on, let me see your other hand. Let me see your other hand. Both hands. Put your hands up right now. Let me see your other hand. Put your hand up there. Put your hand up there. Hands on the wheels. Hands on the wheels. Officer in the car. Put your foot back in. I got shot the same way. Okay, well, when I say let me see your hands, you put your hands up.
So if you could pause it here real quick. So we clearly see the officer asking him to, let me see your hands and stuff. So he is complying to a certain degree, right? You can see here in the footage that he has both hands on the steering wheel, pretty much holding. This is the interesting part that I see, that I noticed, is that George Floyd is panicking. Or I would interpret that as scared, panicking, right?
Right.
That doesn't prove innocence, and that doesn't prove guilt either, right? You just panic, you're scared, you don't know what's going on. There's a lot of things could go into your head, right? But his body language, his reactions, his expressions, you can tell
he's erratic.
Yeah, he's erratic, right? You can see that. Whether it proves guilt or innocence, that's not our judgment here. But we can what I'm trying to go with this is that something within him is causing him to react that way, right? Either he's feared of the cops, or based on, reports of his past, right? In Texas, where he's had arrest warrants, or he was arrested at a time, he has a criminal record. Maybe he's thinking, I have a criminal past and they're gonna search me and they might do something to me, right? Or whatever it is that we don't know. We can't talk to George Floyd, but based on his speech and behavior, we can tell that he's erratic and he's scared. He's either scared or erratic, right? You'd be the decider of that. And that's all I just want to say. So you're going to see that throughout the whole clip, right? You know, so like I said, that doesn't prove that he's innocent. That doesn't prove that he's guilty. That doesn't prove that he's either a good person or a bad person. It's just his reaction. Why he's reacting that way, we don't know yet, right? So it's good to understand that. That's what you're gonna see for majority of the time is George Floyd looks like he's scared. In my opinion, he looks like he's scared. In my opinion.
Yeah. And we're gonna fast forward a little bit because he is taking out.
Well, just fast forward. Just show the whole when they take him out of the car, and then we'll just fast
okay,
forward.
cool. All right, perfect.
The other people, yeah. Just we want to see the whole scene. Haha.
Hands on top of your head. Hands on top of your head. Step out of the vehicle and step away from me, all right? Step out and face away. Step out and face away. Please don't shoot me, please. I'm not gonna shoot you. Step out and face away. I'm gonna get out now, man. Please don't shoot me, man. I just lost my mom, man. Step out and face away. Step out and face away. Please don't shoot me, Mr. Officer. Please don't shoot me, man. Step out and face away. You're not shooting me, man. I'm not shooting you. Step out and face away. Okay. Please, man. Please. I didn't know, man. I didn't know, bro. I didn't know. Right now. Hey, come back. Stay in the car. Stop resisting, man. Yes, you are. Stand up. Yes, you are.
Okay, so I guess we can fast forward this part here. But one question I have, Eddie, is the officer who's making the arrest right now, is that Chauvin? Chauvin, whatever his name is?
No, that's not Chauvin. I forget.
That's not Chauvin? Okay.
That's not Chauvin, no.
That's another officer.
Yeah, that's not Chauvin. Chauvin, from the body.
So we don't know who this officer is right now at the time.
It says it here in the description. That's Thomas Lane and Alex Keong. And I believe right now we're looking at Alex Keong, actually his body cam footage. There's also a video you can look. You can also Google there from Thomas's Lane, and he right there in this particular instance, he's asking him, "Hey, what's your name?" George Floyd, how do you spell your name? George Floyd tells him he doesn't have an ID. He tells him that's his sister's car, right? And then he tells him why. First of all, he approached the car, and then second, why he took him out of the car. Right, and now we're gonna move forward to the part where he's being escorted to the squad car unit, which is right here. So let's play that.
Stay on your feet and face the car for him. Please. Get out of the door, man. I don't want to talk to you, man. Please, let me talk to you, please. Wait, listen, nothing. Can you watch that car? Make sure no one goes in it. I hear you, but you're going to face the door right now. Listen up, stop. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm telling you, man. I'm resisting, man. I'm not. Get out of here. Don't be here, man. God, man, I'm going to do nothing like that, y'all. I'm not the kind of guy. Stop. I'm not the kind of guy. Stop. Please. I'm not the kind of guy. Please. Stop. Away. Man. Don't even know myself, man. Please. That's the COVID. That's me. Still going in the car.
Okay, pause real quick. I just found it funny that, I mean, that's just my opinion. Like, get in the car, you have the door closed, right? And he opens it and he closes it again. I think that's just funny. I know I shouldn't laugh at this. I'm not laughing at this. I just think it's funny.
I'm
like, oh, we gotta get in the car, but the door's closed. Okay, how the hell is he gonna get in the car? The door's closed, right? And then you open it and then you close it again. So I just thought that was funny. That's all.
Okay.
I mean, it has nothing to do with analysis. It's just hilarious. Like, really, dude? Like, you wake up your night officer, open the door or close it.
Right.
Please crack it for me. Please. Yes, I'm glad. Stay with me, man. Please stay with me, man. Thank you. None of y'all, man. You got to take this out, get no work. I'm listening. I understand that okay. Glad to see you. I'll roll the windows down, okay? Hey, you can see. I'm going in. I'm going in. You're not. I gotta go in. So you can see. I don't believe it. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy, man. I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die, man. You need to take a seat right now. And I just had COVID, man. I don't want to go into that. I'll roll the windows down. Hey, listen. Dang, man. Listen. I'm not that kind of guy. I'll roll the windows down and put the lights in, all right? Put the air on. Look at that. Now you listen. We can fix it. I got like Steve. Hey, man. God, that do me bad, man. Man, I don't want to try to win. I don't want to try to win. I don't want to win. I'm got to vote. I'm got to vote. I got excited. I don't want to do nothing to this. I'll hold the window down. Man, I'm scared. Hey, that's a reason. That's a reason to go out on me, man. Okay. We got to be going in. Please. I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to win. I get around anything.
That cop right here, if you can see what I'm pointing at, Jaime.
Yeah.
Derek Chauvin just showed up.
Oh, so he shows up here. So I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that was.
So how do we know that's him? They just because.
So let me see if I can. Do apologize, guys, but I gotta make sure that you guys see this. There, you see him right there.
Oh, there he is. That's his face right there. Got it.
Yeah. So this is.
Can you circle that with your mouse real quick? Can you circle that?
What was that?
Can you circle that with your mouse? There you go.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So that's
right here.
So Chauvin comes after this whole interaction, right?
Yeah.
This whole.
Yeah.
So he doesn't even know what's up yet, right? All he knows is that
all he's seeing
to get him in.
All he's seeing right now is a guy who's unwilling to go into a cop car.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So that's what he's seeing.
Gotcha. I wonder if Chauvin has his body cam. I wonder if they'll release that.
That'll be interesting to see too. Yeah.
So they're trying to get him in the car, right?
Right.
He's not being cooperative, obviously, because he's claustrophobic.
Okay, man, okay. I'm not a bad guy, man. In the car. I'm not a bad guy.
Now, why is he screaming, I'm not that guy? What does that mean? Like, is he trying to say that I'm not the guy who's going to run? I'm not the guy who's going to do something? Or
hey, look, we can discuss it in a minute. I want to, because this is where the. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And right here we can stop because we know what happens next, right? Okay. So Jaime asked the question, why do you keep saying I'm not that kind of guy? I'm assuming he's trying to say I'm not a criminal. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't know what's going on. You know, he even though after the cop explained to him, like, hey, we got a call that you were passing fake 20s and I had detained you because you were unresponsive to what I was asking you to do. And you clearly on this footage too that you're under arrest, not until this particular moment. So George Floyd was not arrested or placed really under arrest until the struggle happened in this particular squad car.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that we see now. Assuming, Jaime, to answer your question again, I'm not that kind of guy. No, I'm not a criminal, dude. I don't even know what's going on. Why are you putting me like this and so forth? Things that we see, trying to explain the suspect's trying to explain himself, right? That's basically what I'm seeing here. Now, to answer the big question, which was this, can we argue that this was racially motivated? And what's going to happen from here on out? And the analysis of this video, for people of color like us, I would say this is fortunate that it was not racially motivated, because what did you see? You saw a police officer present himself, right? Hey, lower your window. We need to talk. Lower your window. Put your hands up. George Floyd didn't comply after 4 times, right? And then he was taken out of the car. The cop tells him, hey, look, here's why I detained you. That guy over there called me, so you're passing off fake bills, right? And he's like, okay. And the reason I put you in handcuffs is because I didn't see your right hand after I told you so many times to show me your hands. And that to us is it presents a danger, and then we have to take certain actions, which they did. Now, he gets George Floyd's information, gives them to the other police officer, says, all right, let's take him to the squad car. Can you run that information, make sure that this is who we're dealing with? Okay? So they go to the squad car, and again, he's like, nah, I don't want to get in the car. I'm claustrophobic. And I personally don't understand how you're going to claim claustrophobia when you were in a confined space, not 2 minutes, like 4 minutes earlier, but it's a possibility, right?
Yeah, it's a possibility because like I told Eddie at one time when I was doing Lyft,
right?
Some people that would pick up did not like sitting in the back.
Right.
And others who sat in the back would get dizzy by sitting in the back seat. Right. So they requested to sit up front with me, which that was fine, right? But, you know, given that experience, I'm not saying that that's a real thing. All I'm saying is that there's some people who just
and I'm not saying that
ran the back seat, and that is a back seat.
Yeah.
So maybe he's claiming claustrophobic in the sense that he doesn't like the back seat. We don't know, right?
Yeah.
But
you know, at this point, he's not even listening to the officer, so that's why the officer is getting frustrated. Look, I'm done listening to you. Get in the car, right? We got to end this now. Get in the car. Like, you know, that's what cops are trained to do. You have to take control of the situation.
Right.
A potential suspect is not going to take control of the situation. The officer is. So he's trying to get control of the car. He tells him, look, I'll lower the windows down. I'll help you out, but just please get in the car. The cops were pleading to George Floyd, please get in the cop car, right? And he still wouldn't do it. And then he gets in the cop car, and now the whole tasseling, and that's exactly what I said. That's important when you see Derek Chauvin come in, right? See, Derek Chauvin comes in until like 7 minutes into this video, right? And he's putting his glove on, okay, and so forth, whatever. And then George Floyd is tussling and turning over here in the squad car, and then you see him, and I don't know if the cops pull him. It's kind of hard to see with the body cam, or George just decided to, like, you know, to basically crawl out the other side, you know, and he's like, I'll lay on the floor. But at that point, that's when Chauvin's on the other side. And what did I just say? Cops are going to take control of the situation. Okay? Cops are going to take control of the situation. So that's why he had to put his knee down. Okay, dude, I get you. For the first 30 seconds, all right, just to try to get the situation under control, maybe a minute tops, I get what you did, right? I'll give you that. But for 9 minutes, that's why we are where we are today. Okay? So, but Eddie, so what is it? What are you trying to say, Eddie Jaime? What are you trying to say? One, that Derek Chauvin is still guilty of what? We're gonna find out, because you can't tell me this is murder now, because based on this evidence, it's a cop using force to try to take control of a situation. At worst, this is involuntary manslaughter now. You're not gonna get a second-degree murder charge based on this. Second, that this is not racially motivated. This is a situation, right, that lost control because, one, a suspect or a potential suspect did not want to comply with police officers, even though police officers were trying to help him out, right? And it ended in the situation that it ended in. There was no racial slurs tossed by either side. I mean, you could put whatever text. There was nothing done. Chauvin doesn't even come in 7 minutes. And so you can't tell me after 7 minutes of an incident, oh, look, they stopped the black guy. Let me go kill him. No, you can't tell me Chauvin came in with that kind of mindset, man. It's clearly impossible. But why I say, Jaime, and you can debate me in a second, involuntary manslaughter is because we don't know. We know the autopsy revealed that there were substances in George Floyd's system. What we don't know is those substances. Either the substances killed George Floyd or Chauvin's knee to George Floyd helped that process, you know, quicker. So that's why I say involuntary manslaughter, but we're going to see that. But you can't, at this point, you can't even charge all 4 cops. I mean, you can, all the other 3 cops, on murder or anything. But they're probably going to get off because this video cam provides more context to the situation. They were trying to get a hold of the situation. The only person that's honestly in trouble is Chauvin. The other 3 cops, and y'all can get mad at me. Y'all can be like, Eddie, you're just the right. No, dude, I'm telling you. I'm the guy that said this was police brutality from the get-go, but this adds more context. And I said, Jaime, and me and Jaime talked about it like, Jaime, you think we could have avoided 60 days of protests in the streets? And Jaime's of the opinion of no. I would have been like, maybe, because this adds a different narrative to the narrative that's been given by the media. All that's engraved in our heads is the 8 minutes Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd. Mm-hmm. But we didn't see this.
Mm-hmm. Until now.
60
days after.
6 days after. So, Jaime, I mean, that's where I stand on this.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Reporting from my house. Well, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to point out is that maybe the officers who interacted with George Floyd in the beginning, right, who went to his car, got him handcuffed, detained, and all that so forth, maybe they won't get in trouble, right? But perhaps because Chauvin got into the scenario late in the action, right, not knowing the full understanding, all he sees is they're struggling with this tall black man, right? They're struggling with this man. And, you know, because they're struggling with this man that that I need to come in and help, right? So maybe we can singularly look at Chauvin's actions, right? And we would have to look at his body cam and see where he was at, how did he get involved, why did he step in, right? Obviously to help. That would be the first assumption. But we would have to look at his body cam, because you could even, like you said, you might dismiss the other officers because based on this footage. But why Mr. Chauvin went ahead and did what he did, you know, he came late in the game. Mm-hmm. He came later on. Mm-hmm. And then he went ahead and he was the one with the knee on his. Yeah. Why did he maintain his knee so long? The footage just showed that they had him handcuffed. I mean, we can even question his mental state, his thinking, his reasoning as to why such a long time they already had this man subdued, right? Subdued. Why? So I guess even if, like you said, even if these officers are, you know, dismissed or go free without charge, we can still ask and question why Mr. Chauvin, whatever.
And that's
did what he did and lasted that long. Because I think in one of these footages, on the other one, you hear one of the officers saying that, okay, you know, he's already down, maybe he's not breathing.
Yeah, turn him to the side.
Let's move him over, right? Yeah. So even those officers might be free because they're like, we weren't intending to keep him down this long, right? So let's just put this out to the public. The officers might be released, but our focus is the man who kept the knee on his
Chauvin,
on the man's neck for 9 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's who our focus is. The officers, we can debate the interaction. You know, George Floyd looked like he's scared. Like I said earlier, he looks scared. He looks frightened. He's like, you know, please don't do this. Please don't do that. Please this, please that, right? He's scared. He looks like he's scared. He looks erratic. Even the officer's asking, like, are you okay? Have you had anything? Because you're erratic, right? All they're trying to do is like, hey, we just want to question you. We just want to get your information and then let you go, right? We'll let you go. Right? Like Eddie says. At first, I was like, no, Eddie, that's not right. You know, it should just, you know, question him on the sidewalk. Why didn't he question him on the sidewalk? How many people do we see on the streets, you know, being questioned on the sidewalk, right? Being pulled over on the sidewalk, right? How many, like, I've experienced that myself, right? So we can even debate that.
That's one of the things
So that's a whole debate in terms of police training, right? Maybe we can get that down the road.
And like I said, that's one of the things I like in what we do, you and I, because we even, like, when we bring stuff up and we share it, like, no, dude, no, look, you can't do that. Why? We question even each other. So, and there's times like, man, you just want to stick to your talking points. And no, dude, look, listen to what they said. Like, we replay it and we replay it over and we replay it over, and sometimes I'll yield to Jaime. It's like, yeah, you're right, man. Or it's the other way around, or we both like, yeah, okay.
We can't agree, but we'll disagree. We'll agree to disagree.
We'll disagree, right? And we'll say it even on the air. But see, at least we're having the discussion. It's not we're just shutting each other down. That's what I say. Like, that's what you guys got to do when we're looking at stuff like this, because it's complicated. It's not easy.
Yeah, and like I was saying, I mean, it's complicated because then that goes into how do we train? How do we do with situation down the road? How do we deal with it in the future? Right. What's the training curriculum for officers, right? In matters like this, right? So in my case, I like, well, they could have just questioned him on the sidewalk, right? Left him on the sidewalk, questioned him, you know? And then Eddie's like, well, they got to put him in the car, you know, to make sure nothing happens to him. Yeah. So it could be either way. Yeah. But the fact that still doesn't excuse
It still doesn't excuse Chauvin. That's the thing.
Chauvin, you know, like even though we can say it,
Like,
it doesn't excuse him. Like, really, dude? Like, you came late, bro. What'd you do? You saw like you were ready to just like rumble, like, hey, let's get it done. You know, like I don't know. I don't know what his mentality was at the time.
Yeah, and that's like I said when I was having conversations about this with other people. Like, look, I'm not even excusing Chauvin. That dude's in a pickle. Period. Okay. The two questions I want answered is, well, one, it was this racially motivated, and two, why? If it was, or if it was not, then what happened? And boom, here we go.
Pretty much.
So as at this point, it's the defense got a major boost. I hate to tell you guys, for those that were hoping for what's the second degree
straight
murder?
Blanket conviction of manslaughter, right?
Yeah, and then if everybody was going to get convicted, the answer as of now is going to be really, I'm saying no. And we're going to see what happens to Derek Chauvin.
So that's just the other officers. Chauvin, I think that's going to be the more critical portion of the case.
Like I said, yeah.
And we'll see, because we still on the grounds that George Floyd's death was unjust and that's police brutality. And we've been saying that from the beginning.
I mean, nobody's disputing that.
No one's disputing that. But also, like we said earlier, this is proof that it wasn't racially motivated.
Right.
This is an interaction between the officer and the suspect, or a potential suspect, right?
Right.
So the officer's trying to, make him comply, to ask him questions, whatever, do his job. Right. And then it comes to this point. So we'll see what happens with that.
This proved the reason why you're protesting in the first place.
Exactly.
It just proves it. I mean, okay, Eddie, you give him a lot of FBI. Okay, dude, I'm just trying to show how it's not systematic at that point. I did not know about this camera footage, because I even asked Hyman in one of the episodes, bro, I wish I don't know if Minneapolis PD have body cams, and I wish they did, because that would give us a clear. I don't know if you remember that, Hyman. I said it. I wish Minneapolis PD had body cams so we can figure it out. And Lord and behold, ask and you shall receive. The good Lord in his graces saw the chaos in America and says, I got to give Eddie that body cam footage, so we got the body cam footage.
It's for you, Eddie.
You know,
and yeah, Eddie did say that we need the body cam.
I need body cam footage, because that's we're gonna clear an answer, and Lord and behold, it proves it wasn't racially motivated. So we know cops don't. No, this instance was not racially motivated. We know cops systematically don't target us, right, and every day of our lives. How is this not good news, for one? And why? How is this not good news? And why are people not accepting it? And of course, that was a rhetorical question, but but it's good news. It's good news. Hyman said, look, our past is bad. We had our instances, and we found the ways to fix it. And this is 2020. You can go anywhere you want. Okay? You can use the same bathroom, drink out of the same fountain, go to the same parks, apply to the same jobs. Okay? Equality means equal opportunity, not equal results. And that's another thing that is driving this narrative and this protest, that everybody wants equal results. You can't have equal results, because not everybody's the same. Okay, so you can't have it. You have equal opportunity. Herman Cain just passed away, and rest in peace, Herman Cain. And I saw the documentary Uncle Tom, and when he talks about his job, and he was I believe he was a rocket engineer, and he said that he was hired with somebody, a white person, and they were both getting Employee of the Month every quarter, but he noticed that he was getting quicker raises, and he said, why is he getting more? His raises quicker.
Getting more raises.
Yeah.
Cain or
no, Herman Cain, the guy that was hired at the same time as Herman Cain. So they were both coming up in the company, and they were both excelling, but the white guy was getting more raises quicker, and so he goes to his supervisor. Hey, why is he getting more raises? I mean, we're practically the same. He's like, he has a master's degree. Oh, he has a master's degree. I don't have. You only have a master's degree. Oh, he has a master's degree. And Herman Cain said, so it's not because I'm black. He's like, no, it's because he has a master's degree. So Herman Cain went to go get a master's degree. He got his master's degree, came back, and he was promoted, and he had white guys working with him. And by the time he left, his supervisor talked to him and said, like, you're telling me something, that I should not judge people by the merit of their skin. But he said, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a master's degree. That means I got paid more, quicker. I put in the hard work, and
so if he hadn't known, so let's just put in the context of 2020, right?
2020, yeah.
The ignorance of 2020 is to the point that Herman Cain was not getting raised because he's black.
Yeah, that was it.
Without knowing, because Herman Cain didn't even know he had a master's degree, right?
Yeah.
He was just asked, like, by him asking why is he getting raised and I'm not, he answered the question. He solved his own problem, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And the context of 2020 would be, well, because he's white, that's why he's getting the raise, and I'm black. Oh, you guys are all racist, and I gotta boycott this place, and I gotta tell the world that you guys are racist, and I gotta make a racial appeal to your conscience. When all of a sudden his supervisor's like, he has a master's degree, that's why he's getting raised. He's like, oh, that was it. I just gotta get a. I just gotta.
Herman Cain said, like, okay, we'll get a master's degree.
And he did, and he got the raise, and he got the promotion, right?
And he had white people working for him.
So what I'm trying to say is that if it was 2020 ignorance level right now,
yeah,
it would be accused that the reason the white man is getting raised because he's just white and privileged. That's it. Nothing to do with the fact that he has a literal master's degree. That's literally going to give you a higher pay rate. Whatever field you are, it's going to give you a higher pay rate regardless, right? The problem would have been if they both had bachelor's degrees and he just got because he's white. Then now that would be
or he got
the supervisor was like, give him the runaround, like, well, he works harder kind of excuse, or he's does his job better excuse, then I would figure out that's kind of racist in a way, right? Yeah. Because who's to determine who works harder or not, right?
Right.
But the fact that he said he has a master's degree and that's why he has a bonus encouraged Cain, who didn't have a master's degree, to go ahead and get his master's degree and get that bonus. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes we claim racism without even knowing what the heck is going on.
Yeah, like if
McCain was a 2020 kid with that everything's racist mentality, he would literally call his boss racist and the company racist.
And sue the company.
Without even figuring out, without even asking the question, why is the white guy getting more paid than me? Without even asking the question.
Yeah, and that's our world, and that's how bad it's gone that people like to attack us conservatives in general because we don't want to appeal to that victim mentality. I'm like, bro, you can't appeal with a victim mentality when you have opportunities everywhere where the leadership of our communities are a reflection of our communities. I can't argue that anymore, man. Mm-hmm. You can't do it. Like I was telling Jaime when we first discussed, I can't argue police brutality when the LAPD is a reflection of my community, and the argument to end police brutality is to have the police department the reflection of my community. 49%. I mean, what are we talking about here?
How much is the percentage of Latinos in the LAPD?
49% of Latinos are in the LAPD.
So Latinos are racist now. They're white supremacists trying to get out to black people.
It doesn't make any sense. In a world where you had a black president, a black attorney general, a black UN ambassador, a black secretary of state twice, you forget about Condi,
and even at that, let's not even look at the national level. Look at the local level. How many black congressmen people for decades?
For decades, I mean,
mayors, council members,
all these cities, right? The mayor of Chicago right now is black. I mean, we have all these places of power, and we're still trying to talk about systematic racism. Look how many rich black folks are on TV and are crying and complaining that black people can't make it. Oh, Don Lemon, Trevor Noah. Don't get me started on Trevor Noah, Mr. I left apartheid South Africa over there, right? Don Lemon,
and he wrote a book
Trevor
about
Noah,
it.
You know, all these, I even go to Latinos, Jorge Ramos, you know, all these people are talking about systemic racism. Dude, you're an immigrant from Mexico that came here, studied at Harvard.
Harvard.
And became
that's your Boston accent? Harvard.
That's terrible. I'm sorry, people from Boston, but because everybody now says it that way, like Harvard.
Harvard. I say that. Harvard. Harvard.
But
I'm doing a terrible job with that.
Yeah, you're all making it, and you're telling us that we can't make it. That makes to me no sense. If you, for example, Jorge Ramos, you're an immigrant, you went to an Ivy League school, and you became a prominent journalist. Congratulations, man, you're awesome. And now you're trying to tell me that I can't do the same thing because of all these rules.
Because of systemic racism, I can't achieve it. But you did. He achieved it, but I can't because of systemic racism. How does that even work?
How does that make even sense? How does that make sense?
So we totally
quick things in the system maybe that we still overlook, but that's minimal. That's still not gonna hinder you substantially to create what you want to do. I mean, we're people of color talking about politics. 50 years ago, we couldn't even do that. My goodness, I would have had a KKK member in front of my house burning a cross. Or in my case, in our case, we would have been beaten up by suits. If we were wearing suits, we would be beaten up, you know. But we're here 50 years later, and we're talking about freedom of speech is disappearing in our country. Religious freedom is disappearing in our country. Like, honestly.
It's unfortunate. It's crazy because I don't know where this idea, I call it the liberal fascist, right?
I just
people say, well, fascist is right wing.
Eddie, you can't say fascist.
I guess right wing in a sense of like what? Militarization maybe, but I mean, literally the nationalistic socialist workers party of Germany
Was socialist.
hello in the name itself.
Yeah, I mean,
but anyways, the thing is that they're trying to
facts on the air, man. You can't
too dangerous, sir.
Too dangerous.
I mean, like Eddie says, it's unfortunate it's going to the case that you can't even disagree anymore. Now, if someone says something racist, yeah, I agree. You know what? Kick their ass. You have the right to say something racist, but you also have the right to get your ass kicked for saying something racist, right? Hey, it is what it is, right? That's what I'm saying. Now, the whole censorship, the whole debate of what's proper, what's not proper, what's right, what's not right. Now we're going to the discussion of control. And that's something fascism did. Control speech, control narratives. You don't agree with the agenda? You're an enemy. You're suspicious.
That's just
right? That's what the Gestapo was there. Gestapo was looking for people who dissented, who disagreed with the narrative of the party.
Yeah,
so what is the liberal doing? They're protesting, boycotting. You know what, Eddie? Let's go to the whole. Let's move on to the next subject because that's what's going to lead us to
Black Lives Matter.
The Black Lives Matter movement. It's already starting to do Gestapo-like actions.
Yeah, so let's go
right now. They're not going to arrest people and put them into prison camps, but the harassment, the destruction, the violence against these business owners, it's just wow. And they're walking around proud of doing it, as if they're heroes, right? So
here's an incident that occurred a couple days ago. It happened on the 2nd, so 3 days ago. And the article right here from PJ Media is Louisville Black Lives Matter using Mafia tactics on Hispanic business owners. And we already know what these protests have done to mom and pop shops in general. Mm-hmm. You know, they've destroyed them, destroyed local economies. You had business owners that were black whose businesses were destroyed, right? Just because of all the looting and destruction going on, and nobody cared. I saw tweets, and you still see tweets that are saying, it's just property can be replaced. We're just trying to send a message. What's the message? Get people out of there so they don't get those businesses out of there so they don't have to suffer through this again. That's the message you're really sending, that people are going to leave. Right?
Yeah, and then here in Naaman Talk, we totally condemned the destruction and vandalism of
property. But now
we condemn that. Go ahead, protest, but don't destroy people's livelihoods.
Right, and but now it's. Remember that picture that we saw in front of CNN where the Latino was waving a Mexican flag I still don't understand why. And there was another person with the Black Lives Matter sign. So we got a Mexican and a black. Oh my God, where's the people of color united? What about now? Now they're going after Hispanic business owners. Why? Because maybe they don't agree with your list of demands. Maybe they find your list of demands unreasonable. Maybe it's because they don't buy your narrative. I don't know. Oh, so you mean because you disagree? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. They disagree with you. And now, like Jaime says, they're using Gestapo. They're using fear tactics, dare I say, clan tactics against people, Latino business owners, right? So in this incident right here, this was in, like I said, Louisville, Kentucky. There was a Cuban business owner, right, who I believe owned restaurants, and his name is Fernando Martinez. He owned eateries. There you go, several eateries across Louisville. And Black Lives came to him with a certain list of demands. We'll go over the demands in just a second. But he said no.
Can you go up? Can you just go up a little bit? Can you just hold on. Can you go up? I want you to read. I want the viewers to go up.
Go up, okay.
Okay, so the first sentence of this article is the Louisville cadre of Black Lives Matter activists sent a letter to many downtown businesses demanding they diversify their employees, right?
Mhm.
One Cuban American objected, right? So that's the first starting, that's just the beginning of the sentence, right? Well, what I'm trying to go with this is that this is not being discussed in CNN, MSNBC,
Yeah, that's what I
Politico,
was gonna get to.
to all those big major things. And the fact that this article, this writer, straight up from the get-go told us what's going on without giving us this whole fluff like the other major networks and news articles will give us, like, oh, well, you know, with the peaceful protesters and blah, 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 giving all that fluff to kind of just, you know, make you sympathize with these terrorists, right? That's what they're going to write. This guy straight out went to the point. These people sent a letter demanding to diversify.
Right.
So,
And
as you go down, so just wanted to make sure that our viewers can see that.
Mhm.
And then I want you to also, one more time, I want them to see, go up again or scroll down or scroll up. I don't know how you say that. I want to go up, like I want to see the top part. Go up again. Okay, down. Sorry, I think I already did it. I think it's this next sentence after that paragraph, and then
The response?
where it describes their actions. Can you? I think it's the next. I think it's the paragraph before that. Okay, Mafia tactics. There it is. So he accuses BLM of using Mafia tactics, right?
Mhm.
So the news article isn't saying BLM is Mafia using Mafia tactics. They're saying that he, the business owner, is describing this tactic as Mafia.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? So the article tells us the facts, but isn't making judgment whether or not it's Mafia tactics. They're quoting Mr. Martinez as saying that his behavior is Mafia tactics.
Yeah,
So,
right.
why is that important? It's because this article is being neutral with giving facts, right? It's not making a judgment whether it's good or wrong. It makes us, the reader, decide whether we agree with Mr. Martinez or not. So that's important too, because in the other publications, you're going to talk about how they're going to convince you that what these men are doing, or this cadre of BLM, is progressive, or I don't know how they're going to take it, but assuming the way things are going, they're going to talk about how it's progressive, how it's, you know, their fight against social injustices and so on and so forth, giving you an opinion of what to believe instead of you read the facts, you make the decision. And that's what I'm just trying to say right now. That's it. You can go on. Yeah. So the neutrality in the way they're writing this.
Perfect. Okay.
You know, that's what I'm trying to say. The neutrality.
I'm glad.
Because
I'm glad you pointed that out too. Yeah.
They already giving you, this is what you need to believe and this is what you need to agree on. All right. Because we're telling you what to believe.
Right.
This article is doing perfectly, staying neutral away from it. He's clearly giving the facts of what this person believes it is. You, the reader, has to decide based on the facts that I'm about to present to you.
Yeah. So, great points. I mean, I'm glad you actually broke that down perfectly. But anyway, so even with the displeasure over Mr. Martinez is over what BLM was trying to do, this particular chapter, he says right here, if you could sit down, if you and I can sit down as human beings that we are without screaming at each other, without calling each other names, without offending each other, we can come to an understanding. But Martinez told one protester of explaining that he felt threatened by the way the demands were being delivered to his business. How is destroying your business going to bring any justice?
Exactly.
So I'm trying to say, can we be civilized about this? How about you send a representative? We'll sit down. We'll have a cup of coffee. Hell, I'll have an eatery. I'll just buy you a meal. You know, we can sit down, try to discuss what's going on. Let me understand you. What has Talk been saying about any subject since the inception of this show? Sit down, have a talk. But we can't. We can't, because as soon as we bring out facts or we bring out the premise of the situation and we try to disprove it, you're just a right-wing nut. Mm-hmm. Automatically, you see an R next to my name, I'm a right-wing nut. You're trying to blame somebody else. You're trying to stick to the past. You're trying to bring the past to the future. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Jaime and I have completely stated that America has had its faults, but it's fixed them, and it's trying to fix them through the legal means.
Not perfect, but we're progressing. We're better off than we were before.
No, and I mean, if you want to tell us like how we don't believe, we believe in progressivism in the sense that America is still trying to hold its ideals, and it's trying to fix those ideals through the democratic means, I guess. I mean, if you want to make that argument, right? But here the guy's saying, let's be civilized about it. And
first of all, before we go there, why would they add demand? Or like, who do they think they are demanding this?
They're social justice warriors, Jaime. That's why they make these demands, okay?
Yeah, so that's like, why do they have that boldness, right? That boldness to go and say, because we demand this, right?
Right now, these protesters and these people, and by these people, I mean these protesters, so don't even try to do what I think you're going to do. Okay?
I'm just kidding.
What do you mean by you people? Okay, that's what I was trying to get to.
The protesters.
They're being protected, honestly, and depending what city you are, Jaime, their governor's turning a blind eye, their local mayor's turning a blind eye, cops are turning a blind eye because they don't support their government, don't support. So these guys feel emboldened because nobody's going to stop us. We're in the right. We are right. Okay. So when you have that mentality, this is what happens. This is what happens. So you have one activist, his name is Felix Crittenden. Okay. He said that, right?
Sorry, that just sounded funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I don't know if I said that name right. If I butchered it, I'm sorry. But he said several Nulu business owners have volunteered to sign contracts created by protesters and open to discuss their roles in gentrification. But others have expressed anger and unwillingness to work together. How do you respond to this is how people remember you in this moment. You want to be on the right side of history, on the right side of justice at all times. And if you refuse to be on the right side, and then it puts quotation, my side of justice at all times, nice business you have there. Be ashamed if anything happened to it because you weren't on the right side of justice at all times. That to me sounds like you need to do something to my business because I don't. Yeah, it's a threat. I don't choose to believe what you believe. How? See, this is where you lose me in general, because if I'm willing to fix things, like I said with Jaime, I have discussions with Jaime on these topics. We talk about them. We disagree on certain issues, but what are we doing, people? We're talking. These people don't even want to talk. These people just are like, I demand to do this now because of gentrifications, because of Jim Crow, because of 1619, whatever nonsense you want to call it, right? Because I feel empowered. No, suffer the consequences, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said earlier, so pretty much they feel emboldened to make these demands because no one's going to do anything because they have that mob rule, right? You have a mob backing them. You have the news media backing them. You have Netflix backing them. You have businesses giving money to BLM and as a way of, oh, please don't hurt our business. We're with you, right? As in fear of the mob, right? Fear of this mob. And I call them mob because they're acting like a mob, right? They really are. They lost the whole peaceful protest argument
2 months ago.
When they became destructive, when they started destroying properties, when they started attacking their own mayors in Minneapolis, where the George Floyd incident happened. The mayor of Minneapolis was kicked out of the protest by the own BLM protesters because the mayor said, I don't agree with defunding the police.
Exactly.
And they kicked him out.
Yeah.
They booed him out. They said, get out of here. Right. It's gone to so extreme. It's like a little kid. These protesters have become kids who have Fitbits in the store and the parents aren't doing anything about it. Right. And no one's doing anything about it. Everyone's just awkwardly watching and hearing this kid throw a fit in the store while the mom is trying to tell him to calm down, please don't, and they're throwing a fit, right? And it isn't until someone steps up and just ends the fit, right? The little temper tantrum by these protesters, it ain't gonna stop because they've gone boldness. They actually believe by making these demands, it's gonna bring justice. I mean, who the hell do you think you are? I'm sorry. Who the hell do you think you are? Telling me what I'm going to do with my business. Telling me how I should run my business.
Spend my profit.
How I should spend my profit. How I should employ. Who the hell do you think you are? I'm sorry. I don't care if you're a social justice warrior. You can be a social justice warrior all you want. But who the hell do you think you are?
That's kind
Making
of
a demand, and if I don't meet the demand, you're gonna destroy my property. You're gonna harass me. I mean, I'm just like, who that? My Latino mother, father, blood in me is coming. Like, who the hell do you think you are? I will smack the life out of you, right?
I get it.
I already tell my parents, I demand these things from you, and if you don't, I'm gonna do this to you. My mom would have slapped the bezigas out of me. They would have slapped the Mexican out of me. My dad will slap the Mexican out of me, right? They will slap the beard off my face in a heartbeat, right? Who do you think you're, who that, right? The same thing I feel the business owners or attorneys must feel like. Who the hell do you guys think you are coming to my business, telling me how? Who should I? Who should I employ? Who should I get business with? I mean, Eddie, just read the demands. I mean, I'm so pissed off right now.
So, I
am mad right now. It's like,
really? If you guys want to read the whole thing, we'll put it on our page, and we'll do like a little slideshow so you guys can look at both.
The actual demand.
But let's look at the list of demands. Let's just look at the list of demands, okay? For business owners and nonprofits in Nulu, our demands are as follows. Numero uno. Businesses will adequately represent the black population of Louisville by having a minimum of 23% black staff.
A minimum of 23%?
23% black, including management, in front of house positions.
Including management.
Commitment and accountability to increasing that number. So that means it is not subject to just keep it at 23%. And accountability roundtable information below.
Okay, so the demand number one is they need to have a minimum of 23%. So if I have a business of 10 employees, right? That's all I can afford as small mom and pop.
That means you need at least two, let's say 3 people, and 2 of them have to be regular salespeople or just regular employees and 1 manager. That's how you have to break it down.
Oh, it has to be a manager too.
Yeah, it says including management. So you have to have the number of employees. There have to be some managers. So that's
pretty much in layman's term, in a business of 10, right? 10 employees, at least 2 of them have to be black
regular employees. Have to be 3 have to be, because we're rounding up. You can't have 2.3% of somebody.
No, I know. So I'm saying 2 regular employees are black and 1 black manager.
1 black manager.
Right. So that equals 3 total.
Yeah, or 2 black managers and 1 employee. It has to be at least 3. And like I said, because we're rounding up.
Yeah, because you don't have 2.5 people.
You don't have 2.5 persons, okay? We're not, never mind.
I was going to say a different term, but I was like, nah, that's going to be, we're going to get do with height.
So let's go to number 2. Retail locations will include a minimum of 23% inventory from black retailers, or make a recurring monthly donation of 1.5 of net sales to a black retailer.
Are you serious?
I honestly, I don't, and you guys can comment below. You guys can tell me what does that even mean? I need to know what are major black retailers. Honestly,
what, are we gonna get FUBU?
I'm not saying anything. I don't know.
That's not a racist.
Honestly, I just go to a store, and if I like the stuff, I'll buy it. I don't care who makes it. But if you guys can,
so that's hard. So let's say I'm a restaurant, right? I'm a restaurant. I have basically Mr. Martinez has a eatery,
right?
If my supplier is Costco or Smart and Final, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say my supplier is Southwest. I forgot the top of the head. Or Cisco. Let's just go to Cisco. It's easy. Cisco Foods, right?
Right.
They're not black-owned business, and they supply me with food and, food, pretty much. Ingredients to make my food. So how am I going to get a list of which black distributor of food exists in Louisville? Right? That's already a dilemma in itself.
I know.
Maybe there is one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there is one. I don't know. We'll find out, right? If they provide the list.
I know. I don't know if they're mom and pop shops. I don't know.
How about I'm a coffee maker, right? I'm a coffee shop. So I have to be supplied by 23% of black owned. So do I need to find a black owned coffee making business? A black owned coffee cup maker? So I gotta Dixie cups.
Whatever it is, I mean, as long as.
So what I'm trying to get the viewers to think about this, right? You're asking something that you don't even know how to locate in the first place, right? Because they're literally saying minimum 23% of black retailer inventory. So Can you name on top of your head what is a cup? What is a company? What's a cup making company that's black owned? What's a food distributor that is black owned, right?
Beats.
Or what is
Oh, you sold it to Apple, so
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like maybe you get your cup from Starbucks. I don't know. Starbucks is not black owned, right? I mean, so even that in itself is arbitrary, right? Like, how do you, like, it's for social justice warriors, it sounds perfect. Yeah, it's egalitarian. It's
100%
perfect.
is a good round number.
But when you think about pragmatism and the actual reality of how to finance things, I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Napkins, are we going to just disqualify napkins from the major ones and just try to find a black-owned napkin maker? Like, how do you do that? And if you can't do that, you got to put 1.5 of your net sales. So if I'm a business owner and I make $1 million a year, what's 1.5% of $1 million, Eddie?
1.5% of $1 million is hold on. 10% 15,000?
15,000?
Right?
Yeah, 15,000. So $15,000 I got to pay to Black Lives Matters just off the bat? Just because? Wait, but I don't have employees to pay. I don't have workers' comp to pay. I don't have insurance to pay. I don't have, rent to pay. I don't have my college, my students,
and that's just missing regular government regulations that are going to be imposed. That's just missing all that too. So
I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, what the hell are you thinking? $15,000 out of just because. That sounds mafia to me.
That is. So let's go to numero tres, where it says business owners will require diversity, equity, and inclusion training for their staffs to be conducted by any of the.
It's blanked out. So let's just say Black Lives Matter movement, right?
Training will be conducted thereafter on a biannual basis. So every 6 months, you will be retrained. Number 4, customize your own or display one of the attached, in a visible location within your business to increase awareness to show support for the reparations movement.
Okay, point 3. Equity, diversity, and inclusion training. Okay. And it doesn't say who, look for an online course or go to a certain university that might include that.
BLM's taking care of that.
BLM is the ones that tell you how to do it. Yeah. BLM. Nobody else. BLM. Okay. Yeah. Not a university. Don't go to a government entity. Don't go to your local county. BLM doesn't tell you what it is. And obviously that's going to be, in my opinion, a failure. Right? Because everything's going to be racist. Everything's racist. And then you black man, you stare to him more than 5 seconds, racist. Yep. If you're serving coffee to black man, you gotta put racist. If you ask how to spell his name, you should know how to spell their name. Like I don't know what the training is. I mean, it sounds so stupid to me.
Anyways,
who is to determine what's good curriculum?
And after you put your decal for reparations, number 5, nonprofits in the Newell district will submit a voluntary external audit of their board of trustees and take necessary steps towards 23% of representation in their boards. So management has to be black. Boards have to be black. They got to pay reparations. If you can't find a black retailer and pay 23%, buy 23% of inventory from that, you have to put 1.5% percent of your net sales towards that. And did I miss something?
I think there isn't.
Oh, you have to be retrained for diversity things every 6 months. So,
like I said, who the hell do they think they are? Who the hell do they think they are?
And if you don't,
give them that boldness to go ahead and write this. So that's the requirements, Eddie. Tell me, what is the consequences if you don't?
So if you decide not to do this, if you decide not to be on the right side of history, you will face the following consequences. And quotes. Failure to accept and adhere to this contract will result in the following measures. Number 1, reduction in racial index score bias report to the reduction in racial index score bias report to the Better Business Bureau. Okay. Social media blast notification via all social media platforms of non-compliance. Ergo,
so we're gonna social media shame you.
Yeah, social
So
media.
that's where the social media mob comes in and starts tweeting, resharing Instagram posts and Facebook saying this business,
It's
quote
racist.
unquote, is racist.
It's racist. Yes.
Boycott this business.
Mm-hmm. They're Trump supporters. I mean, well, I don't know.
Not even that. They're just racist, right? They don't want to help the Black Lives Matters. They don't care about black people. They don't care about the community. They're going to do all that mumbo jumbo stuff, right? All that.
Boycott. Public boycott. Coordinated through social media and mail announcements of your new establishment and any other business ventures owned by you. So if you're a prominent business owner, you will be attacked on all fronts.
So on social media, you'll be blasted on as racist.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go ahead and then we're going to protest, make sure no one buys from you, no one shops with you, no one has business with you. We're going to shame you and anyone who may have contact with you or try to get contact with you after the fact that we shamed you publicly.
Yeah. And then we're going to protest. Visible media covered demonstration. By media covered, I mean Joe Schmo with the camera on his Twitter feed or Instagram page. Demonstrations sitting outside of your establishment. Wow, so they're going to protest right side of your establishment. They're going to sit right side of your establishment. Invasive reclamation. That's my favorite one. Invasive reclamation. We're not going to respect you anymore. We're not going to respect your property. We're just going to go in there and place booths, tables outside your establishments where competing black proprietors will offer items comparable to those offered by you. So what that means is that if you sell Cheetos, they're going to have another a booth of Cheetos sold by black people, and that's how those Cheetos will not be sold by you. That's just an example. But
yeah, pretty much. So they're going to reclaim, they're going to take back what's taken from them, I guess you can say that.
I guess. I mean,
but do you guys see our viewers, do you understand where this is going, right? And that's why I said earlier, Gestapo style tactics, right? We're going to publicly humiliate you. We're going to publicly make you an enemy. And then we're going to destroy your establishment until you comply, right? And good thing these Black Lives Matters don't have the authority to arrest. But if they did have the authority to arrest,
calm down.
That owner would be in jail, in prison, right?
Right.
So when you hear about Nazism, and then they think, oh, conservatives aren't acting this way. Conservatives aren't going to liberal establishments demanding things, threatening to destroy their businesses, threatening to shame them on public ground, on social media as racist without any justification for it. They're just going to call you racist, and that's it. You're going to be tagged racist, and everyone's going to think you're racist, and no one's going to want to do business with you because we're going to tag you as racist.
That's the thing too with the right wing right now in this era of cancel culture. You kneel, we won't watch you. We won't buy your jersey. We will affect your business by boycotting your business. But you don't go. I mean, don't get me started on the NFL structure thing and all that, but you know. We on the conservative side say we got more important things in life than your sport, and if your sport is advocating for this, we're just not going to watch you. Period. Your ratings will suffer. You will lose your partners and all that, and at the end, you're not going to get us back because you support this. And until you stop supporting, maybe we'll come back. That's what the right is doing.
But it's kind of the same way, boycotting to damage the profits.
Yeah, but boycotting to damage. But we're not. We're not going to these businesses. And
training to destroy them.
You need to do this, this, and this. We're saying, okay, you have the freedom to do that. That's fine. We also have the freedom to not buy your products. So, that's where isn't freedom great? And
the freedom of choice, right?
Freedom of choice. But we're not demanding, we're not there destroying statues and all that stuff, right? And saying, no. We're saying, you know what? Fine, do whatever you want. We're just not going to watch you. We're not going to buy your product. We're not going to support your product.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take our business elsewhere.
Which
is fine. That could be anywhere. Yeah. But the deliberate demand that if you don't comply, we're going to do this, that is Mafia-style harassment. That's extortion, right? That's Mafia-style extortion, right? And that's also, like I said, in my opinion, Eddie can disagree with me on this, Gestapo-style extortion.
Well, I agree.
O sea, I brought in Spanish. O sea, hello, right? Like, and the problem is that people are so brainwashed to believe that this is just cause, that this is going to bring equality. It's not going to bring equality. How does this bring equality at all?
It doesn't.
Right?
It's gonna
What's
destroy.
what's a Cuban immigrant have to do with the racism in the past?
I mean, well,
Right? Just because he moved into the neighborhood that was remodeled, whatever it is, gentrified, whatever, right? According to back, I mean, I don't even want to get started in that argument right there, but
I mean, let's just
let's not even go there. But just really, you're gonna harass Latino immigrant business owners?
Yeah, I mean,
because they don't want to meet your demand, who have nothing to do with the racism here in America, who don't even have ancestors who might have had some connection with racism here in America, right? We don't know. But like the white man is the one who's bringing down black people, not Latinos, right? I mean, so the confusion is what is the objective here? What is the objective here?
Yeah, you have no objective. And what, like I said, upsets me the most is that our Latino newscasters have not even covered it.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones
Univision,
that care about
Telemundo.
the Latino community. We care about the Latino community. Oh, excuse me. The Latinx.
Nah, the hell with Latinx. Latino community. The Latino community. The hell with Latinx. We're not going to be following with that trick.
No.
Hell nah. I'm sorry.
I had to do it. I had to throw it in there.
I know.
Excuse me.
Yeah, like Eddie said, Univision doesn't talk about it. Telemundo doesn't talk about it.
Nobody's talking
Specifically Univision, which is the big mamba.
Jorge Ramos, who's always talking about racism in America, is not talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
What is he talking about? Oh, yeah, Donald Trump is handling the coronavirus. I mean, this is worse than 9/11. I mean, he's got time for all that crap.
Yeah, the report saying that we're living in the worst times in American history.
Yeah, but he can't.
Really? Well, yeah, we are living in the worst times in American history because look at what the left is doing. Look what the left is doing.
But we can devote 2 minutes to talk about how Cuban immigrants, successful Cuban immigrants in America who own several businesses, are being threatened by Black Lives Matter under the assumption that if they don't hire people who are black, they're racist. I mean, how does that even make sense? How is that not journalism? How do you not go in there and try to question that narrative? Of course you're not, because it will ruin your ratings. Mm-hmm. But here in MM Talk we are, because we know that's a problem. Because people of color are attacking the people of color, because if I don't hire your color, I'm now deemed racist. Hey, welcome to our world. I mean,
yeah, and it's even ridiculous. Like demanding a minimum standard, right? What is this? Affirmative action for all businesses now? Like, really?
And they want to make it affirmative action. Affirmative action hurts people of color, but hey, let's not talk about that right now. You know, but the point that we're trying to make is it's upsetting that the media is ignoring it. It's upsetting that a certain group right now feels, and I'm not saying it's all black people, but the Black Lives Matter organization feels so empowered that they're going to now to a business and tell them, if you don't do this, we will do stuff to you, and you're not gonna like it. And what is the Democrats and the left doing?
Social justice, yes, we're fighting for justice.
What's that senator from Hawaii just walked out on that hearing with Ted Cruz today, who was talking to Antifa? She's like, I think I've had discussion on this. I've discussed this long enough. So you're not going to decry Antifa? You're not going to decry what they're doing to America?
I decry these cadres harassing, terrorizing, extorting businesses.
But all that, and we're going to have to remove two of the topics because we're running pretty long here. It leads to the final question: is defunding the police the solution? Right? After all that, the harassing and all that. I mean, if the solution is the police, if the problem is the police, is removing the police the solution? Right? Or do we need the police? What do I know? I mean,
we have a good reporting on it. So
we got a good report on it, though. I mean. Ami Horowitz went down and spoke to the people, and they asked them, hey, you know, with all this going on, is removing the police the solution? And I want you to pay attention to who says yes and who says no. That's
clear as day.
And honestly, just hear the answers, and you're going to see how all this ties together. This is going to be the last segment here. So let's look at Ami Horowitz here. And his little journey here through East Harlem. He went to Harlem, out of all places, right? So let's get into it.
Share screen.
I'm Ami Horowitz.
Oh, yeah. Oh, snap. Forgot to share the screen, huh? All right, hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me share the screen. Let me see here. Okay. Are we there? Are we good now?
Hold on. There we go. We're good.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's start again.
It's a 3-minute video. It'll go by fast.
Yeah.
I'm Ami Horowitz, and there are many on the left who want to abolish the police, feeling that communities of color will be better off without them. Abolishing the police has entered the realm of normative debate. Even the wife of New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio supports it. Really? How much better off would the black community be if we dismantled the police?
I think infinitely, honestly.
How much better off would the black community be if we separated the police from them?
How much better off would we all be?
I'd rather have something that doesn't work without them than what we currently have, which is something that doesn't work with them.
The police should go back to being, members of the community.
Abolish the police.
Absolutely. I think that they are disgusting.
Policing in this country is about keeping black people down.
They're monsters. I hate the police.
Police arose out of slave-catching patrols. Police are an occupying army.
Like, I just hate the police and everything that they stand for.
How do people you think feel like in East Harlem about the NYPD?
I probably the same way I feel about them, I probably worse.
How much rage is there on the streets against the police these days by the black community?
A ton now, but I think there always has been a lot for good reason.
Fair to say the police harm more than they help.
Yeah.
So I decided to go see the rage on the streets firsthand. So I'm here in Harlem on Malcolm X Boulevard to ask the people, is this true? What do you think of the people who say, oh, your community will be better off if there was no police?
I think they're full.
I think they're being somewhat.
How dangerous do you think it would make this neighborhood if that was the case?
Very dangerous, because it would be crazy. People would be just going crazy. You know what I mean? It'd be worse than what it is. Robberies, looting, raping, murder.
I think there was a movie like that. I think it's called The Purge. What would you think would happen in this community if they looked to abolish the police?
Purge.
That'd be suicide. But yes, they're needed. I put for them to
Can you go back? Can you just return it? Just.
Sorry, what?
Okay, this man speaks and he says, I think it's like 15 seconds before.
Oh, yeah, okay, hold on.
There's too many criminals out here.
Before that. Oh, okay, leave it from there. Yeah, I just want to hear that again.
They look to abolish the police.
We have.
That'd be suicide. Put for them to be there.
Thank you. I just wanted to hear that again.
Feel safe.
They need control in the city. So I think the police are necessary.
We need them here. We need them.
But you need the police the land, man, and the people, you know?
I have family members that are police. I respect the police. I would not want to see a lawless society.
But my son, he's 8 now. He wants to be a police. I want to push him to be a police.
Would you say the relationship between the community and NYPD are pretty good? Bad?
I would say it's pretty good because all police officers are not bad. You know, you got some of them that really care about the people and really want to help the people.
And I think they're invested in the community. I support the police. I don't support police brutality, but I support the police.
That's the word from the OGs. Thanks, guys.
Don't forget to subscribe to Army Horowitz, but
No, subscribe to MM Talk.
and that too.
Okay.
But
Have you guys noticed there's a man literally with a Black Lives Matter shirt?
Yeah, no, I know. I was gonna say that for me was hook, line, and sinker. Okay, listen, the guy with the Black Lives Matter jersey. Okay, that guy was my hero. You know why? Because he said defund the police. That's suicide.
Exactly.
And why did he say? Because there's a lot of crime. We need people to be police. We need people to be governed. And that other lady too. The other lady really stood out to me. She says, "Look, I'm not against the police. I'm against police brutality."
And that's exactly, yes.
What did we begin this discussion with? To find out if did we agree that police brutality take place? Yes. Do we believe it's systematic? No. Thank God. Did this incident happen here? So we answered all these questions and we said, but defund the police, that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous argument. And yeah, people now in Harlem, in East Harlem, saying, you know, that's ridiculous. But you know what also stood out for me? That the white people said, I hate the police. I believe the police should be disbanded. Should be gone or disgusting. that's where you have a problem when you have white liberals trying to drive a narrative to keep people of color down. That's when I say you want to get this whole racial argument.
Hold
going.
on, they don't want to. Their intention is not to keep the black people down, right? The consequences of their policies keep black people down.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
right, because the intention is to help
elevate,
bring elevate and justice and all that. Yeah, but the consequences of the policies,
consequences of their actions bring them down. Yes,
because if you notice, like Eddie said, the white interviewers were like, "Yeah, let's defund the police. Black people will be safer without them. Black people will be better off without them." And then they asked black people, and they're like, "Hell no!"
And they're like, "You're crazy!
Hell no! You crazy? We need the police, right?" So
sad.
It just reminds me of Malcolm X. I'm sorry.
I know that's what I was gonna say. You found that line about Malcolm X. I'll let you say it, but it was like he told you.
Malcolm X says that the white liberal is the danger to America and to the black person or black communities because they want power, and with that power comes consequences that negatively affect and destroy the black community, right? Oh. So these white liberals are so for getting rid of the police, thinking that's going to better off the black community. But in consequence, the black community itself is saying it's going to be chaotic. It's suicide, not hire police here.
And if you don't believe me, just look at the Wall Street Journal article that came out today where it says, I believe the percentage of violence in Chicago and I forget what other city rose about 100 and something percent. 152%, I want to say. So 152.
I'm trying to look for it. Hold on.
Oh, I got it. Hold on. I'm sure.
Is it criminal justice?
No. Let me see. You send it. Yeah. Oh, 24%. Sorry. Excuse me. 36 out of the 50. I was way off. So 36 out of the 50 largest American cities saw a double-digit rise in homicides and rose by 24%. Austin and Chicago saw rates that increased almost to 50% as compared to last year. That is what this narrative has done. And people of color are telling you cannot do this because it will harm us even more. They said rape, theft, all that.
Vandalism, yeah.
And you got people like Ilhan Omar, all these Hollywood celebrities, AOC, all the entire left, Joe Biden soon to come. All they're going to say, defund the police and replace them with, Jaime called them, hall monitors. That's the only way we're going to get this country back together. But like the guy with the Black Lives Matter shirt said, that is suicide.
Exactly.
It is suicide.
And it's like, and it's funny because just like we here in MM Talk have complained that Latino leaders supposedly represent us, but they don't listen to the community, right?
Julian Castro.
Right? Like Julian Castro and all the, Voto Latino and all them, right? They don't listen to what the community is saying, right? They just assume they know best for us.
Right.
The same thing is going on with this narrative.
Right.
These liberals, these leaders that Eddie just mentioned, assume they know what's best for us. But if you actually go like Mr. Ami Horowitz did and actually talk to the community, it's way opposite of what your narrative is going, right? It's way opposite, right? And that's the problem with these liberal media propaganda that trying to convince people to believe this or you're wrong. And that's why Eddie said it's important to talk to people, to understand those. What does your neighbor think, right? What does your friend think? What does your coworker think? Not to the point of getting to a discussion where it just wedges you, but a conversation of talking like, where do you see it? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Why? How come? Right? What about this? What about that? Because as you saw, Mr. Ami Horowitz went out there, right? And asked the question.
Yeah.
And he listened to the response. And the white liberal and now the black liberal aren't listening to community, and they're propagating this messaging, right? Assuming they know best when they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's dangerous.
So to conclude, this whole segment was on two things. Once again, MM Talk is proven right that this is not systemic. The George Floyd, fortunately, and thank God it was not there's systemic racism, right? But we also have been proven right that nobody wants to talk. Everybody just wants to argue. Everybody just wants to make their point, right? Those on the right, those on the left, we're both equally guilty of this sometimes. I mean, it's true. I'm going to deny it's not. But I think the frustration right now on the right is that dude, I'm trying to talk to you about you want to shun me, right? And those on the left are saying, look, I went through 400 years of this. There's no more talk. We're going to make change regardless of what we got to do. We got to burn down a building. We'll burn down a building. That's where we're at. That's where we're at.
It's the mob rule. But the point that they're harassing people who don't comply or agree with their
and now we're harassing people of color to comply
terrorizing
narrative. I mean, that's just getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand. And overall, people of color telling you to defund the police is crazy. To defund the police is suicide. To defund the police will create more crime. Eddie and Jaime spent an hour on a past episode talking about how crime is in our community. Number one cause of death in African Americans between 18 to 34, homicide. Number 2 for Latinos. So we spend an hour on that. And you're trying to remove the entity that can protect us from that. But that's another discussion for another day. But that was the point. The point is that we understand what we need, right? White liberals telling us, no, you don't need that. And here we are.
Exactly. And also, just to close with my remarks, is that the insanity of the left mob, the insanity and request, demand by the leftist fascist groups, right? That they're going to terrorize, harm, destroy anyone who speaks against their message. That's what the fascists did in the mid 20th century. That's how they came to power. That's how the abuse of power came about. And the left is following the same steps, right? So when you hear these demands, and you might think to yourself, oh yeah, that brings social justice and equal results. Turn back. How would you feel if you become the victim of that mob, victim of those demands, victim of being called racist when you're trying to say something, right? When you're trying to speak up for truth, when you're trying to get facts out there? How would you feel, right? That's what the Gestapo did. That's what a lot of dictatorial countries came about. That's how they got to power, because they squashed any opposition to the narrative. And the left is turning into that. And that's a danger. I don't care if it's social justice warriors, it's justice, whatever. Is it really bringing justice? Is it really solving the problem? Or is it just creating extortion, mafia rule, Gestapo-style fascist left-wing demand to censor anyone in opposition, label anyone racist who disagrees with them, destroy their livelihoods, destroy their families, destroy their businesses, let them lose their careers, their jobs, because they don't agree with the message. That is the danger America is facing now, and that is the danger that America needs to defeat that ideology, that mentality. Just because you see it on TV by some white elite, black elite, privileged people telling you need to believe this is what you need to think for yourselves, right? Think for yourselves, is that what are we turning into, right? What is the danger here? If someone wants to be racist, let them be racist. But like I said, they can also get their ass kicked, right?
You got the right to say what you want to say, but you also got the right to suffer the consequences. That's my mentality, but we're going to leave it there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please leave your comments below. You agree or disagree with us? Are we fascists? Also let us know down.
We're not.
I mean, I know, but honestly, though, please let us know what you think. I would like, definitely, all these subjects are really, they're really complicated, and the way we understand is that we look at facts, but to even understand facts today apparently is complicated. But yeah, let us know what you think. Always remember to like, subscribe, share, let your friends know about MM Talk. And remember, we're Eddie Marmolejo.
Jaime Moreno.
And
we're tired of it too.